What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And with this video, we are jumping into Aquaman: The Becoming. With this being issue number 4, this will be leading us into the new series Aquaman that will be coming out in the near future. And what we have seen transpire through the course of this story, with Arthur aka Aquaman currently on Mars, as soon as he left, there was an attack. And this attack has been pinned on Jackson Hyde. And so, needing to make a mad dash out of the city, he finds his way to the surface, tracking down somebody that might be able to help him along the way. This is when he runs into an individual, one that has a message for him. And that message is that your mother has been lying to you, and I am your half-sister. Be sure to buy the comics, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we currently have Delilah, Jackson, and their mother making their way to Xebel. And Delilah, Jackson's sister, she had believed in this place for so long. Even with everything that it has ever done to her, everything that it has taken away from her. And she believed in this place because her father believed in this place. They could have ran to the surface. They could have ran to Atlantis, but they stayed. And she refuses, even to this day, to run away. She plans to make this place something worth living in. Now, Atlantis is a kingdom that is constantly on the brink of war, and its enemies are real and imagined, depending on the scenario. But the thing about Atlantis is they want everything to stay exactly the way it is. And the only way that is ever possible is that if you keep the wrong people out and the right people in. And so turning Atlanteans against Jackson Hyde, that was an easy task for her. But she is bringing them down here so they can find out the truth. So Jackson will finally know the truth about everything. And though it's going to break him when he finds out the truth, she believes it will only make him stronger and possibly maybe even the hero that they need. And as they're traversing through the ocean, Jackson, he's really being just dismissive of her, not wanting to hear anything she has to say, not hearing any excuses that she comes up with, believing that he knows the whole story. He knows exactly how it all plays out. He knows they are the bad guys and we are the good guys. And Delilah really tries to remind him where he comes from, because this is where you come from, not Atlantis, this place. The place that has twice as many people as Atlantis does in half the space. Not only that, they conscript children into their army. From the earliest of ages, they take them, they train them, and they make them killers. And this is all in preparation for the believed war that is supposed to happen with Atlantis. And so as they make their way through the ocean, we arrive at the Constant. This is the eternal resting place of her father, of the warrior clan her father belonged to. And his name was Alec. He was a soldier, he was a fighter, but at the end of the day, that was never how he wanted to be remembered. And the day that he passed away, their mother was nowhere to be seen, hoping that she could look over her shoulder and see her mother somewhere among them. But that never happened. With tears in her eyes, she pleaded, wondering, where is my mother? Why did she not show up to his funeral? Now, what Delilah doesn't know is that she was in fact there. Hooded in the back of the group, she was there to pay her respects, but never letting anyone know that she was actually there. Now at this point, Jackson, he's not sure what to think, looking to his mom for some kind of affirmation, some kind of confirmation that this is not in fact true. Their mother trying to let them know that they just don't understand, that it is more complicated than you would like to play on, trying to get some kind of understanding, trying to understand why she wouldn't show up to the funeral of her first husband. In the midst of this conversation, we see a rocket come flying in. At the last minute, Aqualad is able to turn it around and send it flying in the opposite direction. It doesn't make it far before it detonates. And with this detonation, Delilah, she tries with everything she can to stop this fight. With the guards of Xebel coming down on them, they saw Aqualad and they thought this was an immediate threat. But with Delilah swimming up to them, having a conversation, letting them know that they don't have to fight, the concussion from that explosion, Aqualad can no longer hear because of it. And so he hears mumbling, he hears people talking, but he's not sure what is going on. And he goes in for a full-scale attack. And he starts beating the crap out of some warriors. With Delilah and the others trying to stop him, he turns to them, lets them know he can't hear, but he needs to keep fighting, only to get shocked in the back and get hit in the face with a mace. Getting hit so hard, Aqualad completely blacks out. And when he wakes up, he is currently tied to a chair. And sitting next to him, tied up as well, is his mother. And with Jason starting to get consciousness back, we have someone walk into the room. Now this woman is Alec's second wife. After Aqualad's mother had fled, she had filled the shoes of mother for Delilah. And her name is Mika. She is the commanding officer of the Liberation Front. And it was her rebel cell that had framed Jackson Hyde for the attack on Atlantis. And with Delilah coming into the room, they all sit down and they have a discussion. And they really start to give him some Xebel history, letting him know the real truth, not the truth that he has been fed after all of these years. And that's what takes us to Hallis Hall. This is where they were having a protest, tired of their children being conscribed into this military force. They wanted their children to stop being taken, and so they used their voice. They used it through non-violent means. They wanted to end all of this war with Atlantis, with the surface, with anybody else. But the truth of the matter is that none of them cared. The forces gunned down every single one of those protesters, either killing or wounding them all. They were scattered to the winds. This peaceful protest had turned into a bloody massacre. They had taken from all of them, from their families, they had trained to kill. And even after everything that had happened, after everything that had gone on, even royalty like Mira had to fight her way out of this place. With them releasing Aqualad, this is when he gets the rest of the story. Because the rest of the story is his mother, she picked up arms. They fought against them. The rebellion had begun, but the truth is, she went past the point of no return. And that is because she started kidnapping innocent people and executing them, giving them a taste of their own medicine. Because when all of this started, the idea was to stop them. If you met force with force, they would no longer do this. And so they shot up the guard station that was there, and they didn't stop the conscription. And so they escalated. They sabotaged the naval yard and took away their prized possession. And still this did not stop them. And that is until they realized they were just taking things away from them. It wasn't until they started kidnapping people and executing them did the conscription stop. But this was only a temporary stop. But the truth of the matter is that Aqualad's mother, he turned all of them into the very thing they were fighting. Involving innocent people like that, murdering innocent people, made them no better than the people they were trying to fight against. And though it did stop the conscription, at least for a little while, months later it picked back up and it has not stopped since that day. And so that violence met with violence, it didn't do anything but turn the people against the rebellion. And so Aqualad, he gets to see the truth, the images of every single execution his mother ever did in the name of this rebellion. And Aqualad, he finally realizes, he is finally seeing that there are two sides to this story. That he has been told his whole life one side of the story, not knowing that there was a deeper truth. That his mother was as evil as his father. And at this point, he doesn't even recognize who his mother is. Not believing that she would even be capable of taking innocent life. But after seeing all of this, after hearing all of this history, he looks her in the eyes and asks, "Who are you?" Because the person I'm looking at isn't the mother that I have known my entire life. Now, Jackson's mother, she insists that Mika is just twisting everything that actually happened. Not sure where she got these images. She really wants to explain, to try to give her side of the story. But at this point, Jackson is too furious. He is far too angry to hear anything she has to say. And so he walks out of the room, letting her know that he wants nothing to do with her ever again. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I wasn't really sure what to expect jumping into this, because we saw in the Infinite Frontier a vastly different future where Jackson, not only Jackson, but Andy as well, the daughter of Arthur, the two of them found a way that oceans can transport you to different worlds, different planets, so on and so forth. The oceans have been opened up as a pathway to the unknown, to the multiverse, to the omniverse. And so we really believe that this story is going to eventually lead into that future state aspect of things. But as it stands, Jackson Hyde, he needs to become the hero he is meant to be. And though he has been training under Arthur all this time to be the next Aquaman, before that can happen, he needs to know every aspect of his life, of who he is, who his mother is, the people he came from, and maybe, just maybe, he might be able to save them. And as we began this little run here, I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to be up to par, that it wasn't going to be nearly as good as what's going on in Future State. But this story so far has been absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see where they go with it. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you have not yet, please do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.